Star Trek Enterprise. Yes. Okay. So I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and do Enterprise now. I finished the original series. Those are all queued up. And we're going to get right into Star Trek Enterprise. I'm going to try to keep these videos as usual, 5 to 10 minutes in length. This one might be slightly longer because it is the first one and I want to talk a little bit more about Enterprise. This is the first Star Trek show that I watched the pilot, sat down, got my VHS tape, put it in, hit the record button. Star Trek, baby. I'm a big fan of Enterprise. I've only seen it twice over. This is my third time through. And I remember that when I watched it the second time, and even the first time, I thought the first two seasons were stellar. And I thought season 3 was it was okay. And 4 was maybe a little bit better than 3. But, the second time I watched it with my wife and we both enjoyed it, she sort of had the same opinion, but that was a long time ago. I have the Blu-rays, so I'm watching the Blu-rays. And it's a little bit different now because there's been so many, properties that we've loved. Star Wars, Doctor Who, of course, that have just been kind of dragged through the mud. And I think going back and watching these, it's almost like you feel relaxed and it's like, wow, I thought this wasn't as good as the other ones, kind of a thing. And you're like, I love these. And I remember thinking that Enterprise was actually probably the closest since original series to kind of capturing the feel of Star Trek, at least the first two seasons from my memory. We're going to break these episodes down, of course. I love all the characters. And I've already watched about 4 or 5 episodes of Enterprise, so I'm doing these videos after seeing those 4 or 5. I don't want you to take this the wrong way, and I don't want you to think that I've become like a shill or something for Star Trek, because I've really loved all of these. This pilot, or whatever, this first 2-parter, I'm going to use my space. We'll use my space system. Let's do it. Story, pacing, artistry, characters, enjoyment. In each category gets a score between 0 and 2. 2 is the best you can get in any category. You're going to see 2 a lot. So the storyline, well, let's just go ahead and give that a 2 out of 2 right now. Did I think that this Enterprise show was going to be so good when it first started? No. Did I question why they're going and doing a prequel series? Yes. Why are you doing this? There's no reason to do it. So right out of the gate, no reason to do prequels. That's irritating. Number 2, why do we need to do the Enterprise again? Surely you can do a new crew of the Enterprise, or you can do something different with Star Trek, as with Voyager, as with Deep Space Nine. So why are you doing this again? So those are the things going in. And then you sit down, you watch, you're like, well, this was a damn great series. So these 2 episodes, you meet all of the characters, which I'll get to the characters. Everything is just perfectly done in this storyline. And you guys have already seen this, so I'm not really talking to anyone who hasn't seen it. Real quick, Klingon guy played by Tiny Lister, who's Zeus from wrestling, lands on Earth. These 2 Suliban guys who have they're augmenting their power, so they've got better. They're regular kind of humanoids, but they have superpowers. They're basically like Skrulls almost. So they have different powers, and they can morph and all of that. So he's got some information that's going to save the Klingon Empire. Archer and his guys have to save him, and then get him back to Kronos. So that's sort of your basic story, but it's all done so beautifully. The plot is great. You're definitely interested in the pacing. Is 2 out of 2. On the Blu-ray, this is an 86-minute movie, basically, the way that they edit it together to just be one complete story. And it's friggin' awesome. The pacing's wicked. Just everything comes at a perfect timing. You're like, okay, let's talk about the ship. Yeah, we're ready to go. Well, and the Vulcans are like, well, we don't think you're ready. Well, we are ready. They argue a little bit. Boom, they get on the ship. T'Pol joins. Boom, she's in. We need Hoshi. We need her. Well, I can't make it right now. Listen, it's now or never. Okay, she's in. Trip, I'm pumped up to go. Boom, Reed, pumped up to go. Mayweather, oh, I'm a boomer kid. Boom, he's in. Every character appears and does something immediately. And we'll get to the characters momentarily. It's just really fast. And then you get right into the story. There's a good blend of action. There's good story too. You meet new aliens. You see different things you haven't seen. It's just amazing, amazing. Artistry, 2 out of 2. Everything looks friggin' great. The music, we're going to talk about that song, aren't we? When I first heard the song, I didn't know. I heard it and I thought, I like what they were going for. Showing the achievements of man and getting to the point where, yes, now we're going to go off into the stars. I liked the visuals. Wasn't sure about the song. I remember going to school the next day talking to my buddy. He's like, I like the song. I'm not sure. Come episode 2, kind of love the song. Love it. Look, it doesn't fit the Star Trek style, right? But it kind of does, because this is the beginnings. The song plays up to that. I think it's catchy, it's memorable, and I kind of love the song. I don't know what to tell you. If you don't like the song, there's really not much I can argue with on this one. My wife is not a fan of that song either. She thinks it's a little bit too long with the credits. Listen, I can't make an argument because it doesn't follow the Star Trek rules, right? Having just a theme. But I personally like it. You're here to hear my personal opinion. There you go. Everything else looks great. Suliban look cool. I like their skin. They look really cool aliens. Everything looks fine. Love the uniforms. I love the bridge of well, the Enterprise looks cool too, but I love the bridge. It's like worked in, like, all right, functional. Like, I feel like everything does something. The way they've set it up is great. It's just, everything is perfect. They don't do transport. It's all shuttles. So some really cool shuttles. I love the gear. Star Trek has always been really cool for the gear. You know, I like, phasers and like tricorders and stuff like that. This one has a lot of cool gear, and you just feel like you can just buy all this cool gear and then I'm going to be on the Enterprise and like do stuff. I love Reed, the weapons. Well, let's get to the characters. Characters, 2 out of 2. I love everybody. Sorry, this is a shill video. Yes, thank you. Captain Archer, there's not enough I could say. I would have to do commentaries. I'm trying to keep these videos short. It would be too difficult to explain how awesome Archer is in just a 5-10 minute video. I would need to you'd have to sit next to me and have to explain to you oh, that was awesome, that was great. Everything that he does is great. He doesn't know what to do all the time, but he goes with his gut and goes with what's the moral thing to do. And I think that's sort of your best bet if you're a captain, especially it comes to play in the next episodes. But here, he does get angry at stuff. T'Pol, I love T'Pol. She's great. She's constantly saying, oh, Captain, this wouldn't happen, or Vulcans wouldn't do this, or this isn't how it goes, or you need to think this through. And he's getting a bit mad. It's like, are you here to just, contradict me every time? But she's being logical, and he's getting emotional. Even sometimes he puts himself in check. He's like, you know what, maybe I've got to, put my preconceived notions and check those at the door, and try to work together and everything. So great. Trip, oh man, I just love Trip. I hate to say, oh, he's my favorite character right away. It's just like, I just think he's a very cool and very fun character. It feels like it'd be cool to hang out with him and just be there. Mayweather is awesome. He's just like, again, very fun, light person. I feel like you can just hang out with him. Reed is great, always talking about the weapons and the armory and stuff. That is a great character. He's hilarious. It's like, oh yeah, what kind of weapons do they have? He's got a great stuff. Hoshi, I really like Hoshi. I know that in these first ones, she's a bit annoying because she's not sure if she should be there. And she's, it's like, oh, should I? It's like, I don't know if I'm cut out for this and I can't do this. But very quickly they get over that. Basically the next episode right after, they immediately fix all of that, and then she's in. And she's important because of the language barrier that they're going to encounter. So every character feels like they're necessary. The Doctor. Phlox is great because he's so excited to do stuff. It's like, oh, I'm going to be on a ship with humans. This is going to be great. And, and then I've got all these little creatures that do things. It's like, what's that? It's like, oh, this is like a worm or a slug or something. You're like, okay. Oh, it's all for medical stuff. Don't worry. And he's just happy to be there and happy to help. He's got some good dramatic moments in later episodes as well. But yeah, and the enjoyment factor, I mean, it's a 2. I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. Sorry, we're shilling a little bit here. But I honestly can't think of anything I didn't like. they've put a lot of thought into how you would act if it's your first time doing anything. Just simple things. Trip is walking around this kind of alien place and he sees the little kid and he's having trouble breathing and the mom's taking away the breathing apparatus and he's like, what the hell is she doing? And Paul's like, that species can't breathe. So they have this oxygen thing. And in order for them to be able to go anywhere else, she has to wane him off it. So it's like, take it off, try to breathe a little bit. Okay, put it back on a little bit. Try to. So it's like, this is part of their development. It's like, oh, right. You have to think about you've got your human sensibilities, but it doesn't work every time. You don't know about these species. Lots of just like little technical things like, oh, the translator's not working. Oh, it's not working. How am I going to figure this out? What am I going to do? There's a lot of that in play, and they really thought this through a lot. I love that the transporter, and they're like, I don't want to use that. They're like, well, we're not going to use it on humans, obviously. Yeah, of course not. So I'm not sure. I think the show might be better if you've seen a bunch of Star Trek and then you watch it. I'm trying to think, like, if someone was brand new to Star Trek, would I say, hey, why don't you start with Enterprise? It would be cool to start with Enterprise, but it's definitely a lot of fun watching it last because you're like, wow, and now that, and you appreciate all the work they put into it a little bit more if you watch it last. So there you go, guys. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. If you like my spacism, please like and subscribe to the channel. And let me know what you thought of Star Trek Enterprise. And check out my friend Clobberin Time's channel. The link is in the description. Every Saturday night, they do 4 episodes of Star Trek. They call it Saturday Night Star Trek. So make sure you check that out. That's it, everybody. Until next time.